today's daily trading lesson, we're going to be going over talking about a missed opportunity and what happened from there. So let me pull up the charts and we will rock and roll. If this is your first time joining me, please make sure to like the video. If this is the second time, please make sure to subscribe. It's free information, free education. So we'll leave it at that. And let's get into tonight's lesson. So what we wanted, because the market was showing some really nice strength here, is we wanted to go long. It was a very quick opportunity. Market opened up, took a very quick dip, and then kind of held. And there was slightly another way to get involved with it, but simply executed the trade short on that first push. And that was essentially it. Actually, wait a minute here. Yeah, SPY was short. Sorry, guys. SPY was short. That wasn't the first trade. So that was the second trade. Let's go over this. So it pops up, climbs essentially all the way up, and we took the trade into a starting position. We start in. SPY was the long that we wanted because of based off of our risk parameters. We didn't get it, but we did happen to get a nice short on it, worked it all the way down. Beautiful trade. And then here on Q, so locking in 780 bucks on that, very small position on that. And then on Q's, so Q's long, so Q's kind of held out a little bit longer in that position. And when it pulled back, it pulled kind of into a better support area with lower risk. It came right into an area that we were comfortable with executing. So it was a much better position to go long into. And what I really wanted was SPY short. And talking about missed opportunity and kind of how you go about things, I've seen a lot of traders through the years that as soon as they don't get what they want, what they've set out for, they almost hit this like panic button. And no matter what, they'll execute that trade. And that's a problem, because if it doesn't do exactly what you want, then don't take it. One of the discussions that we've been having lately on screen share during the day is more talking about, like, as blunt as it might sound, like, are you a peasant? Are you someone that is willing to pick up scraps? Or are you someone that has self-respect and pride and wants to feel as professional as possible? And no, like, a professional feeling is you're gonna be able to achieve that if you set out and you're really discerning over the trades and the things that you do, like the trades you take and just the actions you take. It's important. It's kind of a topic that I would love to dive a little bit deeper, maybe not so much into a recap, but each and every day, it's so important that we start and we have trade plans, right? And not to deviate from those trade plans and this is the catch, if it actually sets up for you, right? Now, sometimes when we come into levels, it can seem really, really scary, and it can seem a little like the way it comes into those levels is really fast. So then you want to lay off the trigger and not pull the trigger on it. To not deviate from those trade plans that you set out is so important. It's one of the hardest things to do. I give trade plans every single morning that work. And yet there are so many that cannot execute that trade plan because it looked scary at the time. And it's fine if we walk away from a trade plan or we amend that trade plan because it does something on the charts that you don't like, or the price action is like, okay, there is something most definitely off with this, right? I missed this before, so I'll change that trade plan. But it's about catching yourself in the moment of not bullshitting yourself and actually seeing what you're seeing. So I can dive deeper into this, but tonight's lesson's more so about, if you get an opportunity, right? And it happens very fast, but it's too fast, because if you would have executed that trade on SPY, the way it flashed into that level, you're going to get a horrible fill, guys. Horrible. It is not worth it. What is worth it is to wait and see if that's why we watch Qs. Qs ended up setting up and it literally bottom ticked that entry as you saw. Because if you took SPY, that execution would have been horrible. You don't really want those first candle of the market open executions, especially on options. That's a little note. You can, like, there are instances where you can definitely do that, but there's going to be the majority of the time you don't want to. And that's because of the price of the premium. That premium is very expensive, especially when you gap up like this. If it opens exactly where it closes, that's fine. You can execute that first candle. That premium is, for the most part, going to be exactly the same. But when you get big gap ups and big gap downs, you need that premium to settle down, even just slightly. And that second candle, it's already settled down. So I guarantee for people that may have executed SPY because there was a valid support level there, if you executed that on that flash dip down, you would have got a horrible fill. And on that, with it popping back up, the little bit that it went, it wasn't a lot. The Qs didn't go up a lot either. But because you waited for that premium to settle on Qs, your P&L is going to be much higher. So on SPY, if you executed that, it's going to go up and you'll make money, but you're going to make about that much. Instead of on Qs, you're going to make that much because of the premium settling. Now, remember, we're not necessarily options traders at Tricktrades, right? We don't consider ourselves options traders. And that can get a little confusing for people that might be watching this. We execute on the stock chart. That's why I still refer to just going long and going short. Sure, I'm taking calls and puts, but I don't consider myself, nor do my members consider themselves options traders. We're not options traders. We're stock traders, but we just happen to execute on the option side. So if that kind of makes sense to you guys. So it's been a long day. I'm going to wrap this one up, and I've still got a shitload of work to do around the property here this evening. I hope you all have a wonderful evening, and I will see you tomorrow. Adios.